Alright everyone. This is an edited math VOD of my math live stream from August 19th, 2023. And because this is the first time that I posted one of these on the YouTube, I just wanted to explain a little bit about how my live stream works. So basically, I scroll around on the internet or sometimes a mathematics Discord and I look for questions to answer. Every now and again, someone will pop up in chat and ask me a question. Sometimes they'll hop in a Discord and we'll have a voice chat. And I often get distracted. I go on tangents. I have to look things up to help me answer a question. But I hope you still enjoy it anyway and don't mind going with the flow as my mind goes to random places. I really enjoy being able to actually help people out, and even though I majored in math, I still need to Google things all the time, so don't hold that against me, please. And yeah, I hope you enjoy.
Okay, conceptualizing differential equations. I'm currently studying AP Calc ABs in Khan Academy. Implicit integration? Yeah. That's basically like, if you're talking about separating variables, I think about it like basically like Euler's method with it just is the slope of the line and you can plug in like points to figure out what the slope is at various like XY values. Hey Maxi. Check off the one shows the first few values. Let me take a look at that one. Because they're doing a weird thing with they're not allowing repeats, it seems. At least not that you can't repeat integers in the same partition. How often one shows up in the first few values and see if the OEAS has a sequence. I feel like wouldn't one always show up the same amount of times, or like it'll be a or not the same amount of times, but it should show up like a proportional amount to the actual number. Well, maybe not. I don't know what I'm trying to say with that. Seems that recursion might be helpful. Probably, yeah. I'll do math since you were doing it, right? I like it, Chip. Hmm. Is it for your job, Chip? The 30 math questions? It's kind of a funny way to represent functions. I guess you get a set or tuples, however you want to define it. Like the first index goes with the integer 1, the second index goes with the integer 2, and the actual value is the count. Huh. Are you familiar with differential forms? I don't think I've ever heard. I mean, I've unless you mean like with like a sequence, like I don't think it was like a sequence or like I'm probably not familiar with differential forms. I'm thinking of things with like sequences or like the difference between each number in a sequence, but I don't know if that's what you mean. Right set, but it should be ordered. Oh, honestly, I don't know what the difference in notation would be, but I assume they're just not being that picky about it. Integration on manifolds. Oh, yeah, I never got that far in math. I'll take a look at that Wikipedia page though. Oh, parentheses for ordered? Okay. And curly brackets for standard. Yeah, this is beyond any math that I ever learned. Exterior product called the wedge product. Interesting. Haven't heard of that either. So, I mean, I definitely don't have a good answer for this person, but yeah, I'll take a look at that out of curiosity focus. This question is probably going to be beyond me, though. Also, I'm out of tea, so let me put my mug away. Okay. Differentiation of matrices, okay. I'm not sure. I don't know enough about this to know how it would apply the problem. Um, yeah, no, I don't even understand most of what this is saying. Okay, so I mean, if anyone like, I'm definitely not qualified to answer this problem, but if anyone can come up with a good answer, like I'll post it or I'll link you to the post if you want to like respond to it. You have the English range of a teen. I mean, you have a good excuse, Chef, because it's not your first language. For me, it's really advanced math that I never learned. I want to see what this person posted and see if I have a different way or like a different way of describing what a differential equation is. I mean, I don't know. I think there is a visual representation of a differential equation, at least for what I'm thinking of. Let me see if this Paul's notes will show it. Um, actually, I should just Google it. Squid. Okay, yeah, there's a Paul's section for it. Um, yeah, Maxi. It's like a numerical method, and they're asking like how to conceptualize a differential equation, and that's what I think of a differential equation if I am going to try and attach some bigger meaning to it, I think. Other than what this person said down here with like, you know, y prime equals y is just a function whose derivative is equal to itself, which is e to the x. Um, it's basically asking the question of, you know, what function is equal to its own derivative may be multiplied or added by another function. For example, y double prime minus y equals 0 is asking when a function's second derivative is equal to itself. Which, I mean, that'd be like a sine or cosine. Well, actually, I mean, the signs would be messed up, though. Would you need, like, sine squared, maybe, or cosine squared? I don't know. It's not important. The actual, like, result of that, y double prime minus y equals 0 isn't, uh, super important. I mean, I could even just limit that and say y double prime plus y. Oh, sinh and cosh, that makes sense, e to the 2i pi. I'll make it plus, but just so it's not using hyperbolic functions. That makes sense that there'd be that relationship there. Is equal to the negative version of itself. If I am going to visualize it, it would probably be imagining something like Euler's method. Where you numerically, or where, find a numerical, or where you construct the original function using the fact that the derivative is the slope of the tangent. Okay. I think I'll leave it at that. I'm going to close out of this partitions question. Capitalize the M in method too. Okay. Hanging wall posters. Oh, hey, let's see if there's a practical question here. Can to 90 inches? Oh, came out to be, I assume, 90 inches. All right, let's look at Chef's thing first. If x is an odd number, what is the quotient of the next greater odd number divided by the next greater even number? It depends on the actual numbers, doesn't it? You're gonna get it's gonna gradually approach 1 the bigger the numbers are, I think. Okay, yeah, Maxie and I had the same idea. There's probably a way that you can generalize that, or like I guess it's basically if your number is x, it's basically the function 2x plus 1, or rather x plus 2 over x plus 1, given that x is odd, an odd integer. Um, oh yeah, e to I pi, we get the same idea, it looks like. So Shep, actually, this probably be easier to see in Desmos, because you can actually scroll around the graph. Oh, that's not what I want. So Shep, it depends on the actual, like, numbers involved, but depending on what you put in, basically this red line is what you would get out. So at the start, it's like a bit higher, and then it like levels off towards 1. So if the number is big enough, you could just call it 1 as an estimate, but it's going to be like in reality like 1.0000 like 1 or something like that, depending on what the numbers that like actually are. Um, Basically, if your number is x, then the next even number is x plus 1, and the next odd number is x plus 2. And so since you're asking about the quotient of them, that's where the division came from. And I can explain that better on the whiteboard if you need it. I said, okay. In the partition in Python, some doubt the bell numbers are calculated with caching. The numbers too big is unfeasible. Oh, okay, interesting, Tolkas. Interesting. All right. Good to hear it. Subtracting the bottom part of the poster, the length, or width, depending how you want to define it. Oh yeah, it's all good, Shep. I wasn't even sure about my answer at first until I could think about it a bit more. Oh, the person is doing display. Display are what I have right back there. Those three things. I guess I could have just looked behind me and pointed at it, but um so yeah, if they're 19 inches wide, it'd be 7 inches in total. But if they want it to be evenly spaced, it'd be, well, they did 33 over 4, but they said that backwards. So I think they're right, because it'd be 8.25 times 4 plus 19 times 3 should give the total length of the wall. Which we can verify. So I don't think this question actually like that bad, but let's just give them a good way to think about it. 19 times 3 is 90. Okay. So your math looks good to me. A good way to verify is to add up the lengths of the posters plus gaps again and see if you get the original back, or if you get the length of the wall back out. 8.25 times 4 plus 19 times 3 is equal to 90. So you should be okay. With the brown stickers, I would mark out on the wall faintly in pencil where the posters will go and put the brown stickers in the middle of those posters. and it should work out fine. In the middle of those marks. Oops. Okay. Like, I mean, so sometimes the real life questions are a little annoying, but that one was okay. The real life questions sometimes they're asking way too big of a question, or they don't have all the context, or something is like it's not really possible to give them a good answer. That one you can though, and I enjoy actual application questions when they do have everything. Imagine using math in real life. Awesome. Get to teach a new employee about oils. Oh, good luck, Shep. Imagine there's a lot to it. Even or odd function of two variables. I haven't heard of it. I haven't. I mean, maybe there's still similar definitions for three-dimensional. 2xy? What does that look like? Is to teach them Monday. Their IDK the word. Oh, okay. Oh, hyperbolic paraboloid. Okay. So I can see how it would be symmetric. The origin is in the center of this cube. Um, so in theory, you should be able to take one like quadrant, like if you're talking about the xy plane, and multiply it by 4. I mean, it should technically be 0 though if we're getting net. Actually, how does the negative area work in 3 dimensions? If it's below the z-axis or the, I mean, I don't know. I never really thought about that. We thought it'd be easy to know with respect to one of the variables. Okay. Yeah, it's something else. I mean, maybe it would be better simplified for the change of variables. I don't know. Oh, I see, because the x squared would get rid of the negative sign. I want applying that to an integral though, I'm not sure how you would do. Like it makes intuitive sense to me. I don't know how to actually like show it though. Oh, all right. E to the 2i pi. Thanks so much for hanging out. You have a good evening too. Um, doesn't seem to be multivariable. Okay. So if both x and y are odd, well, okay, first if you multiply in, or you distribute in the x inside of here, and you split up the integral into two, you would have x, y, f of x squared plus y squared. And if both x and y are negative, you would end up with the original function back. So that seems like a three-dimensional, like, odd function, depending on how you define an odd function. Let's see what that is, Maxi. Oh, it is odd with respect to x. Okay. Where r is -1 to 1 cross 1 to 0. Shouldn't it be 0 to 1? Or what does it mean when it's 1 to 0? I assume this is like a three-dimensional or a rectangular prism. Maybe length 2 and height 1? Oh, okay. It doesn't actually matter that much. So I'm assuming this is how you boil it down. Oh, I guess they're saying this becomes 0. Okay. Because y is going to be the same otherwise. So this is a slightly different situation where you need negative signs in both of the variables to get the symmetry. Uh, or I guess no, you can do it in 1 to show that it's odd in respect to 1. Yeah, I wish there was a. It makes intuitive sense. I just don't have a good way of explaining it, but this might be a good thing to link them to. Of using a two variables. And it's like for this person, I guess I should say I assume any integral over a circle centered at origin is going to be 0 because of the symmetry. I guess we could test that. It'll look a little weird in rectangular coordinates, but I think it'll be okay. So if x goes from, say, negative square root Oh, sorry, I meant specifically for this one. I probably didn't say that, but I meant specifically for 2xy. If it goes from negative, let's do a circle of radius 1, I guess. 1 minus y squared up to root 1 minus y squared. I think I'm doing that right? Yeah. And y would go from negative 1 to 1. This should be 0 if my calculations are correct. Yeah, okay, good. That gives me a lot more confidence. And if you can make these ones whatever radius you want, as long as they're all the same. Yeah, okay. Since f of negative x, negative y equals f of x, y, and you're integrating over a circle centered at origin, I believe you'd get 0 regardless of the circle's radius. I plugged an example or two into Wolfram Alpha to confirm it seemed to work. Okay. Thanks for finding that stack exchange thread, Maxi. All right, let's look for another one. Reliability. Oh God, okay. Let me bring this up in Firefox because I need to be able to zoom in on this. Uh, it's a little bit better. I'm gonna scroll around, I guess. I mean, I could expand it sideways. Okay, hopefully that shows up well on stream. Okay, consider the following function: f of x equals I'm 5'11", Shep. I don't know what that is in centimeters though. Oh, 180.3 centimeters. Good at conversions? Oh yeah, you would be. So yeah, I'm definitely not at risk of falling into washing machines. Well, like I said, I am, but it'll be easier for me to get out. Consider the following function: f of x equal to root x plus 1. The summation is, ooh, starting from a negative. From x equals negative 1 up to 2 of root x plus 3. Okay. Oh, it's so weird, Riemann something. Okay. Uh, let's look. We need to graph this out. I can't do this mentally. No one has responded to them yet. That's good news for us being able to answer their question before someone else does. Okay. Finally, we get to go on the whiteboard here. So we have our function is f of x is equal to root x plus 1. Let's quickly graph this. The function is a sideways parabola starting at -1 because it's x plus 1. So it looks something like that. And they're asking how to interpret the summation from x equals -1 to 2 of root x plus 3 over 2. So this is just a very weird way of saying a Riemann sum. This is going to be the height. I think the width is going to be, there's like an invisible 1 for what the width of these rectangles is going to be. So when x equals -1 here, we get root 1/2. And that's going to be bigger than 0, which is the most important thing. So root 1/2, I mean, I'm just going to like put a point there. And then it's width 1, so it's going to go all the way over to the y-axis, because that's x equals -1. And we can also make a rectangle there. And then when x equals 0, which is the next step in the summation, maybe I should write out our steps here. When x equals 0, we get root 3 over 2. X equals 1, we get 5 over 2. X equals 2, we get 7 over 2. So let's graph all these points because these are just x and y pairs, basically. So at 0, we get root 3 over 2. Compared to at 0, that's equal to 1. Root 3 over 2 is greater than 1, so it'll be above our function. I'm not being, all I care about is whether it's above or below. I'm not being too careful about the proportions. 1, 2, I think that's okay. I will care about like the width of the rectangles just to make things look a bit better. But so that's another rectangle. And then for x equals 1, we get root 5 over 2, which again is going to be greater than root 2. Because 5 over 2 is 2.5. So these are going to be, I mean, isn't that kind of weird though? Oh, it should be level with that, I bet. I think, okay, you know, I should be more careful with how I'm graphing things. Or I mean, look, we actually should match up the height of this function with the rectangles. That actually is an important part of it. And then x equals 1, this is root 2, which is like 1.4. Then for 2, it's still below 2. So it'll be something like that for the base parabola. Right hand overestimate? I think so. Because at -1, we get root 1/2. And this parabola is 1/2 at -1/2. So actually the rectangle is going to be about halfway up here. Actually, is it going to be? I think it's be a midpoint. I don't know about over or underestimate though. So I think it's going to always go hit the midpoint because they are offset by a half. You really need to draw a proportion if you're going to tell over or underestimate though. I don't know. It's kind of annoying. We'll figure that part out later. Let's look at how the rectangles look like. So at x equals 0, we get root 3 over 2. This is root 3 over 2 at x equals a half. So our rectangle is going to be like halfway between here. It's going to hit the parabola. So like it'll go right about there. For x equals 1, it's 5 over 2. This is 5 over 2 when x equals 3 over 2. So that's halfway through here. So the rectangle's going to be half. Like halfway through the parabola over the interval there.
Oh, and then we do need to go one more out though. And when x equals 2, it's gonna be the same thing again. So I think it's definitely a midpoint. So it's gonna be one of the last two answers, but asking you to do over or underestimate is kind of evil with the midpoint. From the way that I've drawn it, it looks like we're gonna be underestimating, but this is a hand drawing. It doesn't mean that much. How can we know? We could actually integrate it and know the answer. There should be a quicker way to know, though, right? I need to Google this because I don't really know how you tell how a midpoint Riemann sum is over or under. Make sure it hasn't been responded to yet. Okay, it hasn't. Good. That's not very helpful. Let's try this website. I think you have to actually integrate it to know if it's over or underestimate, which maybe that is the point of the problem. So let's get back to this person. That are implied by the summation. One is the width and square root x plus 3. Oh, really, dude? It's a little bit rude to just say hello, but I'll still reply. Oh, wait. Hello, how's your day going? Okay, maybe there. I was interpreting that as rude when it's not supposed to be. Um, or midpoint. Let me just leave it at this and not explain the entire thing yet. My son just said Don's a nice guy. Oh, hey. You know what? Your son is also a nice guy. Thank you.
Uh, you like Shep too? Okay, let's post this. Yeah, heck yeah. I mean, Shep is awesome, so okay, let's see where this goes. I don't want to give this person the answer. I think he just likes everyone. Oh, well, you know what? I'll still take it. All right, let's see if there's anything else on this Discord. Person will probably get back to me and I'll start talking to them more. Oh, okay. um, someone's being talked, or people are talking. This person seems to have gone back to me. Um, Actually, I just instinctively made it into four different. Well, we know it's four different rectangles, and if they start at x equals -1, so I think they have to be drawn like this. I didn't think about potentially like different bounds, but I think this is fine. You would get four terms. One rectangle with x equals -1 and square root a half. The next one with x equals 0 and square root 3/2, etc. For four rectangles. Yeah, well, you put the total estimate for the area. So I think we need to actually integrate the function to tell if it's an over or under estimation, which I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose of the problem. If you're just able to integrate it anyway, but maybe they're just doing it as an exercise and using easy examples. Okay. Let's see something else, or let's see if there's anything else in the meantime. Okay, help 28, the liability. I need to remember if I see that something pop up in there, then check it. What happened in this one? I don't really like jumping into things that people have already been working on, but this one might be possible. Write the equation of the ellipse 8x squared plus 2y squared equals 16. Isn't that already the equation of the ellipse? I guess you could divide everything by 8. Oh yeah, I think the standard thing for an ellipse is with fractions. Or maybe not. Maybe the coefficients in front are fine. Let's see. Oh, okay. So yeah, this is the format I would expect an ellipse to be in Shep. So you take the equation you wrote there, divide it all by 8, and you get x squared plus y squared over 4 equals 2. Well, I guess, wait, they want to equal to 1. You divide everything by 16. Never mind, sorry. Since 16 is on the right-hand side, I think you divide by 16 then, and you get x squared over 2 plus y squared over 8 equals 1. But technically the thing that you wrote is valid too. It's just not the common format. It's really just like everyone does it this way because it's easier to work with, but you don't technically have to. How to graph it? Well, personally, I would just plug it into a graphing calculator. Oh wait, the person in Discord got back to me. Um, Let me look. So let me respond to the person in Discord first because I need to figure out how to graph an ellipse again. I don't really remember. Midpoint. The first rectangle with x equals -1 has height square root 1/2. So it should hit the sideways parabola. So it should hit the given parabola square root x plus 1 at x equals -1/2. Hey, Wish, you're drunk? Well, I hope you're having a good time. Thanks for coming by. Okay, well, this person looks at that. Let me, I'm just gonna get my Discord over to the right side of my screen so I can keep an eye on it. Or I'll get the Firefox on the right side of my screen, maybe. Oh my God, please behave. Okay, so, um, so in this case, let me, I'm gonna keep this parabola stuff up just in case the person asks a question that makes me have to go back to my work. But I'll do Shep's thing down here. So I'll just repeat what I was saying like verbally. 8x squared plus 2y squared equals 16. You divide this through by 16 to get x squared over 2 plus y, oops, that's 2y squared. Y squared over 8 equals 1. And then this is something that is commonly graphed. We'd actually want to use the situation. Let me bring my Firefox back up. We want this second situation down here because A should be greater than B. And in this case, A goes with Y. And in this case, we have 8 and 2, so the one with Y is greater than. So we're focusing on the second one on the Firefox tab. Um, shoot, and then I need to figure out the major and minor axis thing. I think. Oh yeah, okay. So in this case, it's gonna be an ellipse that's like up and down. It's like on the right hand side. So sorry, I'm drawing the graph kind of small, but basically, if this is b squared and that's a squared, it's important to remember that they're squared. The y coordinate up here is just a. It's so it's going to be the square root of 8. So 2 root 2. Same thing down here with negative 2 root 2. I'm not really drawing it that accurately, but. And then over here, the x coordinate at either end is going to be the square root of 2. And it's centered at 0, 0 because I'll show what an ellipse looks like when it's not centered. It looks very different. Then you just basically connect these dots. So it's not really drawn to scale, but it should be an ellipse that's like long this way because 8 is greater than 2. And the coordinates here are gotten from the square roots of each of these numbers. So when a parabola isn't centered at 0, 0, it looks. Oh shoot, I can't. Oh yeah, there'll be extra numbers inside the squared, so it'll look very different. So, and sorry, the person on Discord is like getting back to me and asking me more questions. I'm gonna erase this quickly. Well, actually, it'll be okay. They're asking me for a picture. I need to open up my own stream and take a screenshot of my whiteboard right now. Channel. Sorry for the intermission. Actually, my screenshot isn't going to come out quite right. I do need to erase this ellipse stuff. Okay. Sorry if my screen freezes for a second here. Okay. I need to say this is a file. Save. And let me strip the metadata from the photo. Properties. Details, remove properties. Okay. Just make sure the picture came out okay. Okay. Let me bring up the Discord again. The rectangles should intersect the parabola at the halfway points, basically. or not quite drawn perfectly. Okay. See if there's anything else in the meantime. Oh, they already got back. Um, from -1 to 3 and compare it with the result, the summation. I can't really tell from the graph. Oops. So I wonder if he's going to say that he hasn't learned integration yet. Or this person, I don't know. Problem teaches. Yeah, sure. I can do these types of problems. Yeah, sure. I think I can erase this on the whiteboard now. Let's see what this one is. The following summations is correctly evaluated and correctly calculates the right-hand Riemann sum estimate of the area. It's correctly evaluated 1, and 2 correctly calculates the right-hand Riemann sum estimate of the area between the curve y equals square root x cubed plus 1 and the x-axis on the interval of -1 to 3 with 4 rectangles of equal width. For any intervals in which the function dips below the x-axis, count the area as negative. On it. Okay, so we have y equals cube root x, or y equals square root x cubed plus 1. Let's look at what that graph looks like. Really like a normal cubic, almost. It's kind of interesting. And they want from -1 to 3. So immediately, oh shoot, let me get my Discord back up. So we want 4 rectangles over the interval -1 to 3. And a right-hand side. So because it's right hand, we go, one rectangle is going to be at 0, another rectangle will be at 1, 2, and 3. So our summation should go from 0 to 3. So immediately it's going to be B, C, or E here. Basically, the first one and the fourth one are immediately eliminated. Actually, the fourth one is also, or the fifth one, I can't count. This one only goes up to 2. I didn't even see that. So our bounds should be from 0 to 3. And we also need to tell, I mean, this one only has, oh, well, I guess we should actually plug in some numbers. Because they might have combined like terms here. Actually, they definitely combine like terms. So when x equals 0, you get 1. For 2, you get, or wait, sorry, I skipped over 1. You get 1 plus root 2 plus square root of 9 is 3. So that's where the 4 comes from. It should just automatically be this second one. And then when x equals 3, you get 27 plus 1 is 28. And 28 is 2 root 7. Or the square root of 28 is 2 root 7. So it should be the second one. So how quick is this next one? I don't know if I should give them 2 hints at once, or I should probably just do 1 hint at a time. Oh, it's just kind of plugging in things. Okay. So yeah, let's just work on this one first. Okay, so for number 2, I'll say that if the interval is -1 to 3, and we're using a right-hand Riemann sum, the x values we should use for each rectangle are 0, 1, 2, and 3. And a left hand would have been -1, 0, 1, 2. Just so this person can see the pattern. Um, we can use that to figure out what the bounds of our summation should be and throw out 3 of the possible answers immediately. Okay, so let's give this hint and see if this person can get to the next step. Oh wait, they did say with 4 rectangles. Okay, good, and this is with 4 rectangles. If they said like 5 or 6 rectangles, you would have had to divide it up in different ways, and it'd get really annoying. But I probably won't mention that unless this person specifically asks, because I don't want to make it more complicated than it has to be. They are giving nice numbers for this one, though. And while this person is thinking, we can work on this other one. I mean, I don't want to just plug in numbers for this person, though. I'll probably give them a similar hint as what I did down there, and I'm not really I'm really just calculating this for myself. Alright, so this person says, suspense is killing me. Um, the graph can be helpful, but for rectangles of equal width, they give you an easy situation with 4 rectangles and an interval of length 4. So it's it can be helpful, but you don't actually need it. Giving nice numbers. Nice numbers. They're asking for 4 equal rectangles, and the interval is length 4. So the dividing points be round numbers like that. Yes, the right Riemann sum never starts with the first number in intervals. Left always does, but never goes to the end. That's probably this person said a better way to to think about it, because that's a rule that's easy enough to remember, and I think a lot of math students think in terms of that. Fish and rice. What about fish and rice, Shep? Oh, you made some. Nice. Enjoy. Fish and rice sounds like a substitute like curse word. Like how some people say cheese and rice instead of cursing. Yep. Um, Need to manually calculate each summation to figure it out between them. Oh, that might not translate very well, Shep, but you know, it if you might like stub your toe or something, you might like yell out Jesus Christ, or if you're surprised. But if you're, you know, religious or you don't want to curse or whatever, you might say cheese and rice because it sounds like that. You still don't get it? Okay, I don't know. Maybe it's why are your English so confusing? It's just it sounds like a curse word without actually being a curse word. So people don't like cursing. like, you know, instead of, well, actually, if I have a kid watching me, maybe I shouldn't curse, but if you don't want to say a bad word, but you're surprised, then you might say a sound alike. No bad words. I can't promise I'll never say bad words, but since Hard Luck mentioned it, I don't want to curse up a storm. Uh, yes. So, okay, I probably could have given, maybe I'm explaining a little bit too much, but we seem to be making progress with the person, regardless of whether I'm giving away too much. Um, so you're over the interval 0, 3, you're halfway, or you're since they're asking about midpoints, it'd be 0.5, 1.5, and 2.5, and that makes 3 rectangles. Wait, 0.5, 1.5. Wait, that makes 4 rectangles, doesn't it? I actually messed this up. Uh, if we're dividing up the interval 0, 3 into 3 parts, we actually might need to do something funky. Oh my crap! Oh, it's fine. 1, 2, 3. And so we're doing midpoint. So what I was saying is that we should divide it halfway between here. That gives us 4 rectangles, or no, 1, 2, or sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we want 3 rectangles. I'm glad I didn't just turn off my brain and say that. So this interval is, I mean, it used to be length 4. We want to, so it'd be 1 1/3 for each point. Oh my god, this crappy marker. Do it all in blue. One, two, three. We're working with this interval here. So we did 1 1/3. That'll be 1 1/3. Add in 1 1/3 again, that'll be 2 2/3, which that's too much. That's not equally spaced. Why aren't I? This should be simple. I don't know. Midpoints over the interval 0, 3. I need to Google this, honestly. So I'm getting mixed up with whether the interval is length 3 or length 4. If it's length 3, we do 3 divided by 3, which still gives us 1. That doesn't sound right to me. Oh, wait. I'm overthinking this. I think. If we're dividing into 3 rectangles, we still do the breakpoints at the round numbers, and this will give us 3 rectangles. We have something like that, because it's a cubic. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but for the sake of argument.
So this still gives us three rectangles, and just the height is what matters. So like if it's a midpoint, it's going to be something like that. Well, that last one is crappy, but
Okay. Um, okay, so dividing up 0, 3 into 3 rectangles. One rectangle goes from 0 to 1, the next from 1 to 2, and the next from 2 to 3. They're all width 1. The height is going to be halfway between each interval because it's a midpoint Riemann sum. So the height of the one from 0 to 1 is f of 0.5. Or I'll say 1/2. So we've been using fractions. The original function to get its height. Let's see if they see the pattern from there. Disk gen? Oh, like Discord generation? Yeah. Like basically at nowadays for any like university class, there's always a oh, I Discord general. Let me see if I'm interpreting. I did just see that there's a new message there. Oh, I see your question there, Shep. Okay. I completely misinterpreted your comment. Let me focus on this person first. I think we're about to wrap up, and then I'll get to yours. Sorry, I don't want to work on like too many things at the same time. In the meantime, we could look at some cats. Oh my God, look at these cats. I forgot that there's this chat here. Oh, okay. I think I saw him posted something or as I clicked off though, so let me. Cat's it? Oh, is that how you say it in German? That's basically all it comes down to. It is? Okay. They didn't do anything tricky with. Okay, no. For a second, I thought they were like, oh, this function is actually something else, but estimate, this other function that's not f of x. Oh, okay. They're asking one more problem. Well, let me see how long it's going to be. If it's short, I'll help. Uh, is it a problem like those? Okay. Let me take a look at Shep's as well. So Shep, for this one, we need vertex form of a parabola, which let me see. I'm gonna quickly write down what the problem is on the board, and then I'll take away the Discord screen. I'm probably gonna like switch back and forth between your problem and that person's problem, actually. Oops. Let me write this in a more clear way. Focus is 4, 0. Equation directrix action, axis. Okay. Of symmetry. I'll just abbreviate symmetry. Let me check that person. Oh, okay. So this is a similar one. Right hand sum and left hand sum to find out which of the following is the smallest interval containing the exact area A. Which is the smallest interval. Oh. So your interval is basically 0 to 2. And there, I think you just need to. You wouldn't wish to Riemann someone your worst enemy. They are kind of annoying. So I think in this case, you basically, it's a normal Riemann sum. Your function is x squared plus 1. Your interval is 0 to 2. But then how do you know how much to divide it up? Because you can make it like arbitrarily exact. I mean, or if you make the rectangles infinitely thin, then it's just an integral. It's the only answer that's both numbers repeated another answer. That's not a bad idea, Jed. I love those like when you just like analyze the psychology of the teacher who's like putting the possible answers there. Um, because you could get wildly different estimates. I mean, I would want to just integrate this from 0 to 2 and see which one has the answer inside it. Because I assume it'll, or you look for the smallest one with the answer inside it. But they say specifically a right-hand Riemann sum and a left-hand Riemann sum. So maybe you can treat it like your function is x squared plus 1 and your interval is 0, 2. I'm not sure how many rectangles you should make. Maybe try it with 2 rectangles, make it easy, and calculate the left and right sums for a parabola facing up like this. the left should be underestimating, the right overestimating. One of those intervals should hopefully contain the two results you get. Problem wants you to do two Riemann sums for each answer choice. It wants you to get an overestimate and an underestimate for the true value of the area. And then potentially multiple of these answers will work though. And they ask you to choose the smallest one, which is really weird to me. Because or do they mean to do it with one big rectangle? Because the way it's phrased, maybe they do mean one big rectangle. I didn't have to do questions exactly like this before. Okay, so let's look at Shep's problem now. So sorry to keep you waiting, Shep. So that they don't realize that I'm like in a stream, and I feel bad when they're just like sitting there confused. Okay, so well, I'll show Shep's problem again. I wrote it on the whiteboard, but it's this right here. So parabola has this vertex at 4, 3, and if it's focused at 4, 0, write the equation of the parabola, the directrix, and the axis of symmetry, and then graph it. So we can do that. Actually, I should quickly check. Okay, that person didn't post back to me. So the directrix, I'm gonna have to remember what the heck that even is, because I remember that it does involve parabolas, but I only barely ever had to learn them. But the vertex and axis is the equation and the axis of symmetry are going to be pretty easy because I remember those. So the first thing is the vertex form of a parabola is going to be important for this problem. And vertex form of a parabola is y equals a, x minus h squared plus k. Oh, and that's why you have the focus. I see now. So this is the general vertex form of a parabola. The vertex is h comma k. So in this case, since our vertex is 4, 3, we can plug those in. So x minus 4 squared plus 3. And the issue is that we still have an a here that we don't know what the value of it is. And I'm actually going to need to Google this already because we need to use the focus somehow to figure out what a is. But I need to remember what the relationship between the focus and a parabola is. Let me bring up my Firefox again. Parabola focus. I'm sure that'll get us to the directrix and all that stuff too. Oh, yes, we have this relationship. Okay. So when you have the focus of a parabola in the vertex, you can figure out what this a coefficient is with basically this relationship here. So the focus is at h, the same exact x coordinate as the vertex, and the y coordinate is at k plus 1 over 4a, and this a being here is how we're going to solve for the a over here. So we know the y coordinate of the focus is 0. That was given from the problem.
So if 0, the y-coordinate of the focus, is equal... Oh, sorry. 0 is equal to that formula k plus 1 over 4a and k we already said was 3 because that's from the vertex. So 0 is equal to 3 plus 1 over 4a. Now we just solve this equation for a. So I'm going to subtract 3 from each side, multiply by 4a, and then divide by -12 to get a is -1 over 12. So the vertex form of this parabola is y equals -1 over 12 x minus 4 squared plus 3. You could multiply this out and get into the standard form for parabola, but it's all the same. Now the directrix, what the heck? Like, let's figure out what the directrix is, because I remember hearing that term, but I don't remember like how you really define it. Oh, it's this line down here. Okay. And the directrix, is it just always like the negative y coordinate of the focus? Maybe not necessarily negative coordinate, but the reflected y coordinate. I think it is. This site doesn't explain that for some reason, but oh, you figured it out? Oh, yes, it's a sensation. Oh, you're good for the problem set. In that case, I won't overdo it. No worries. Just didn't know the parabola one. Okay.